is up, guys? It's your boy GRC. How is everyone doing? What a wild day yesterday that I had. I didn't expect it. I didn't wake up thinking wild day. I really didn't. But the kinetic energy, I guess, that formed around the Zen launch was incredible. It was frankly stuff of the gods. I didn't expect it. I expected something, but it was more than I could have ever imagined. It opened my mind more than I ever thought it would. And I frankly thought it would be a little more less competitive and more, but hey, the market speaks. The market wants certain things. They want certain products. They want certain people, and they're willing to put work, whether that's bots or clicking a bunch of buttons. It's all the same shit, guys. At the end of the day, it takes the supply of Zen a while to have enough liquidity and enough momentum for there to be enough active liquidity for real buyers to really get in and really get a large portion. That could take months. I think months. Some people might say years. Depends on the market. In a bull market, it's over. But shout out to Richard Hart because it's his birthday. And Richard, if you're ever watched this stream, thank God that you existed and put that information on the internet that you did. Because it's truly changed my life dramatically. And it's not necessarily about the money in my account. It's about the information you provided me. I'm all about information and time. And thank you very much. And happy birthday. I'm glad, he was on stream with a bunch of Hexkins. I hope they had fun. We kind of watched that. Good stuff. We're going to talk about Zen Protocol today. I just wanted to do this birthday shout out. Jack's coming in the house. So I'm getting together some questions on this tweet right here. So if you have a good question, probably the best way to ask a question would be to tweet on there, literally, because then I'll be able to read it. The chat's moving quick already. Get on there, ask a good question about the gas fees, about the rate of mint, energy. Everyone has these questions. They're like, okay, why can't the rich people just buy it all at one time? Okay, now the rich people are just using bots all at one time, but they still have to pay fees. And then everyone's referring to it as a less fair system while they state that it's more fair than the system that they're in. Literally, while they state those exact words. So I just want everyone to stay open-minded. I did not spend that much money. I probably won't make that much money. I don't know, nor do I give a shit. I have a job to do, and that's to help a bunch of people. I'm going to benefit if it works out, I'm sure. But my job is to educate people. I'm not sitting on here all day if I'm doing nothing. I want to work. I want to do something. I want to move forward, guys. Let's go. Crypto in the morning. I'm a little jazzed up today, but I'm not going to be at all aggressive. I'm in a good mood. I want to talk and I want to learn. I just want to learn. So Sam's in the house. He's looking chill. He's chill vibes today. Real chill vibes. He's like watching all this stuff go down. Bullish is in the house. He had a wild night last night. I did a little partying too. So frankly, if I look a little, Mom, I'm sorry. Crypto in the morning, 11 a.m. every day, guys.
You already know what time it is.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
We ain't on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
We ain't on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hex and I'm making a stake. Got me some hedge on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way. Crypto in the morning. 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 Crypto in the morning.
Yo, what's good? It is a good day. Good day.
Why is it a good day?
I got up this morning, and one of the things that I first do is take a poop. And then I came in here to my computer, and I just pressed refresh on my screen. This is not the reason why, but just in general, life is good. I'm happy to be alive. I'm thankful to be alive. I'm thankful to be here. And I press refresh, and the Zen global rank is over 250,000. And I was like, okay, cool. This is, a fun little thing. It builds community. I get to talk to some cool people. There's excitement around it. I had no effing idea that there would be anywhere near 250,000 mints.
Sam, but they're all bots, bro. That means that you're not going to get any benefit from it, right?
Let's talk about that. That's a great question. Because that's what I see on Twitter nonstop.
That's
right?
the general sentiment. So that's what they're trying to give everyone. Since it's more fair than the system that where you can just buy as much as you want at the bottom, and that's the system they're in, and then you stake and get a better rate than everyone that comes in front of you. This is a different kind of system. So it is a little confusing, but like still the points that are going across, they don't, they're coming from angles that it's like, of course, well, you can make a problem. If I was trying to make a problem with Hex, dude, you think I could do a couple episodes on that? Probably. But that's not the best thing to highlight in the world. But again, I do highlight it on occasion. Like, I highlight some negatives in my opinion, about Hex. And they generally stand true. And the bull market generally just makes everyone not care. So it's as we move forward, I just want to make this show even more about learning, about education, no fluff. If there was any fluff before, which there really wasn't, I'm cutting it back. I want 7.6% body fat on this baby.
Let's go through a thought exercise. So I want to hear from you. I'd like to hear from Bullish, and I'd like to hear from people in the chat. There's 250,000 plus mints, and it is growing with every new block. Okay. Now, how many?
Would you want to be the guy that fudded? Would you on Twitter? Like I'm saying from a point of view, Sam, you're totally unbiased. You do not have any bones to pick at this point with these people. You just don't. And you're totally detached. And people kind of know that. You don't really advertise yourself as something other than that. What position does that put you in? When you are boldly saying something is bad, if it doesn't work out good, no one's going to say you were right. But if it works out really good, everyone's going to say you're an absolute idiot. And then that puts you on a lot of pressure on yourself to be negative about something. I just don't like the angle. I think it lacks emotional understanding and fitness. And that's where I, me, I get pissed about certain things, but not other. Like if it's totally blatantly dumb, I don't care. But if it's like half true, half not true, lack of insight, lack of caring, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I want people to step up a little bit sometimes. And I kind of poke at them because I want them to step up. It's not because I don't like them. I would never care about this shit.
What do you think? If you had to guess the average person, how many wallets do you think the average person has? Just take a guess. I want to hear you guys' thoughts.
You want me to think the network average or like the average Joe?
The average in Zen.
I know, but like if you had all the numbers, what's the average? Or like,
yes,
what do I?
yes.
Okay, so I would say like
I want to hear what you guys.
Probably 6.5 to 10.
Okay, so I want to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think the average is? Leave your number in the chat. So we have Green Day. He says 5. Steven says 3. So what is the average number of wallets you think minted in per user?
Average on that one's hard because it's probably either like 12,000 and like a bunch of 2s.
There's a lot of 5. There's a lot of 5s.
I wonder how many people did 1. Hey, I think Bullish has a way of figuring out how many people did 1. Maybe he has a way of figuring out all these numbers.
10. Okay.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of these numbers from another source, but yeah, it's pretty much like, you can figure out how many people did, 1 day mints, 100-day mints, et cetera.
I think I did 6.
So we got a lot of good data here. Okay.
Yeah,
a lot of people, like you just said, there's one person, there's a couple people who have like a lot of them, right? Like Pac-Man, he said he did 100. Somebody else said they did 28. Okay. Now let's think about this from averages. Okay. Let's go with the high number. I got 55 wallets ready for perfect. Okay. So let's get this number. We have 250,000 plus. Let's say the average is 150. Let's go higher than every single person in the chat, right? Let's go higher than that. Let's say that the average person has 150 wallets, right? So we take 250, we divide it by 100.
And then we have to get to the point that it even doesn't matter. Like,
So
how much does it matter? Like, did they lose at the end of the day? Because I had a feeling the whole time people were going to spend more on gas fees and I was going to snipe the bottom in 3 months. And that's kind of how I generally operate under like in my imagination under those parameters. So I would assume that when there's active liquidity, and we'll ask Jack about this when he comes on, when there's active liquidity, like there's going to be a dip, guys. People sell their shit and it's going to be a dip relative to the value. And I'm sure Jack has opinions on what the value will be today.
So if you take 250 and you divide it by 150, that would be if we assume that every single person who minted Zen yesterday on average, right? Because there's going to be some people that have like 1,000 wallets, right? So we're going to average this all out and we're going to say on average there's 150 wallets per user. That, my friends, is 1,660 people. So 1,660 people. Let me for metrics right here. Let me just give you a little bit of information. If you look at ICOSA, if you're not familiar with ICOSA, because a lot of people are not familiar with ICOSA, as of this morning, has 1,986 holders. That's holders. So if you take the math on that and you divide it by 2, saying that everybody has an average 2 wallets, then that means Zen has more people who minted than holders of ICOSA. ICOSA has had a lot more attention and has been out for a lot longer.
I want to bring something up real quick.
Please.
This is a scam. So anyone who thinks
please don't,
you're going to be able to buy Zen on MXC or anything like that, it is a scam. So please stop spreading this word.
Please.
It's all a scam. If you don't hear it from Jack or official Zen channels,
even if that statement were to be true, for example, let's say that statement is 100% true. Don't say things like that in this context. It's not appropriate. People are going to press things that they shouldn't. It has to be talked out with a professional. This is day one. Everyone be completely safe. I'm not doing shit.
Yeah,
I don't have my cryptos computers out. So just chill, guys.
That MXC stuff is a fake contract that was deployed on Binance 14 minutes ago with supply. We all know this thing launches with 0 supply. So be careful. Don't be sharing stuff like that. Do your own research. Verify. Go to the official Zen Telegram and ask.
Quick sidebar, Crypto Sloth in the house. Dude, I'm starting to get a little low-key obsessed with ICOSA staking.
You were telling me about that the other day before the show.
Yeah, I'm like looking for hedges everywhere, and it's like screaming premium on that for somewhere where I don't want to take money in and out. You know, like a smaller percentage, but a good percentage, you know, like and it could like level up over time. Like, I mean,
that's the number I quoted is from Etherscan. So I don't know if it includes stakers. I would think it does not include stakers on there, just the number of holders that was reported on Etherscan, but I don't know how they classify what is reported and what is not reported. GST, this morning, when you woke up, were you surprised by how quickly that number grew?
No, because I saw the Twitter activity all night and it was absolutely parabolic. And I could just feel it. Everyone was going nuts. I was going nuts, frankly. I wasn't doing anything except fighting FUD. I was a FUD fighting fool last night. And again, I was just poking at a little bit, like trying to get people to be a little bit more transparent about the way they're talking and the way they think, rather than just kind of spewing to an audience in a nuanced way where they can kind of get misled. Being completely open-minded about both end objectives is more important. Like the people pick sides depending on where their bags are at. I don't give a fuck. I'm not a wrecked fucking pleb. Like I can do what I wish. If somebody was like, do you guys want this guy supporting the community? I was like, I'm not supporting shit. I'm just excited. I just love crypto. You know, like I love crypto and I just want to be here. So, what other questions do you think people are coming up with?
One of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize is that there was a lot of FOMO yesterday, but if you actually minted today, $4, I did one this morning at 200K plus, you actually earn more Zen, right? So instead of getting it out in, yesterday plus 100 days, you could do the same type of thing. I think I did a slightly longer duration. And I got more Zen, like more, I think 1 or 2 million more Zen by doing this. So you could mint today and actually get bigger supply than you would have gotten yesterday. I just wanted to highlight that. You're muted.
One thing that we have to understand, Sam, and I've been getting a lot of DMs about this, is we're starting to be big enough where people watch this with their kids in the car sometimes. And we say really bad words sometimes.
Hey, guys.
Really horrid, disgusting words we say on occasion. And they just say, hey, like, I know you're a young guy and you don't really give it, but it would be legit if you guys didn't say this. So I'm going to try my best. And of course, when Sam's going, it's going to slip out. So
I can.
But we can just be like actively not as nasty when we say the words, but we can still say it. Unless something is bad going on. Unless like
At this point in time, I made no mistakes. At this point in time, I made no mistakes.
That's for sure. GRC has made no mistakes in this point in time.
Oh my God. Let's see what some of these people are saying. There's some longer comments here. Green Day. How do we grow a community if we hate everyone and everything? Hey, you're a smart
That's a
person.
great point. Oh, I love all these projects that come out and I don't get overly invested. And it's like, oh, I enjoy this now and I'm not overly invested and I can talk to these people and it's cool. And everyone's like, you're a scam artist. Literal piece of crap. We don't want to talk to you anymore. It's just a guy you want supporting your community. I'm like, you guys are dorks, losers, literally pretending to be other people that you're not. I'm doing work every day. Like, I don't know what you're doing other than commenting on my shit. I guess because people just hate me now. It switched. Something like I was always felt like I was doing the same work.
Talk about this because I think that a lot of people might not understand this if they haven't watched that long. And I know we have a bunch of new users who have been watching. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your time. We really do value that actually tremendously.
Every day I value it. My life revolves around this show. And I want to be here as a resource, for good, and I want to make things better.
Now explain where. So we become. I come from a spot where I don't care what works out and what doesn't work out. Literally doesn't matter to me. I'm going to talk about what I think and what I see, right? And if something comes out and it changes the way that I see the world or how I see things, then I will change my opinion on that thing. And I will talk about the rationale of why I changed my opinion around that. There is no intention of leading anybody else on some effing journey. I caught myself there. It is solely to take you on my journey and what's important to me and the things that I see that are valuable that hopefully I can share with other people to help them in some way. And GRC, I assume, comes from the same spot in there.
Yeah, no, I 100%. We got Jack in the green room. I'm going to say one more thing before I stop talking as much. When it comes to everyone in the channel, guys, if you've been watching the channel, I've been doing grade A work. And trust me, I failed a lot of classes in my day. I know what it's like to get a bad grade. I'm doing decent work, B+, A- area, could be better but I am doing honest work. That's the truth. And no one's paying me and I'm not building anything. So I think that gives some sort of journalistic freedom. I don't have enough hex for me to give a rat's ass if it doesn't work out, but I want to support good crypto. You know what I mean? I don't care if my 6 Zen mints make me a billionaire. Nope, I don't. I do not give a fuck. I don't care. Family show. I didn't say the word, but I don't care. I'm here because I want to be stimulated mentally. And that's why I revolve my whole life around it. And everyone, says, I'm not working for you. I ain't working for any of you. The reason I quit my job and I'm a free man today and I can do whatever I want is because I decided to do so. And whatever you're doing, you do that. I will do this. And I will, frankly, do a great job at it. And you'll wish you would have been on the team. All I'm doing is try to make everything better for everyone. Trying to learn. First, crypto moves forward so quick. We got Jack in the house, guys. We got questions all over Twitter. I'm going to try to be chill. That is on me. Okay? That's on me. Let's do the cutscene. Boom. That's so good.
Hey guys.
Jack, great to see you. How was your night? Were you up late last night?
Dude, I don't remember sleeping.
Talk us through this excitement of like what's going on. I think that from the little bits, because I haven't actually been able to talk to you in a couple weeks or something like that. I think this exceeded your expectations from the peripheral, from being far away. I believe this exceeded your expectations. Can you talk about this?
I would say it had. I think when I was looking at the numbers and doing estimates, I was thinking we're going to have maybe 10,000 wallets connected in 24 hours. So today, 22 hours later, we have 250,000 wallets, which is huge. And so I would say my expectations were kind of blown away. I mean, for sure, I didn't
10x,
expect it at all.
10x potential on your expectations, maybe 10x.
It has to be 15x at this point.
Wow.
Maybe 20x.
I believe you, man. I believe you're being honest about that, because we've talked about this for so long. And, this is a very new concept to some people. So I don't want to be like naively like overeducated on something just because I've had a lot of time to think about it. I also want to be like, this is day 2. So when we're talking and Sam's asking questions and I'm kind of trying to go through the chat to ask a few questions. And of course, whenever you have to get off, Jack, just let me know. I'm just going to try to get some questions because people do have questions and I have legitimate questions. And there's a couple good questions on Twitter. So let's go into it. Sam, I'm sure you have something to say first and I'm going to shut up.
Let's do it. Thank you.
Yeah, so appreciate you putting all this stuff together.
Morning Zen coffee right here.
I've got some water. Cheers. Cheers everybody
Cheers.
listening. Okay. I think that the first thing I want to chat about is the overwhelming, like, I was like, okay, cool. 5,000 people in the first 15, 20 minutes. And then it kept climbing. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go do my shit. And then I check back, 37 minutes later and it's at 20,000, right?
Yep.
Where do you think that comes from? Is this touching a nerve? Is this like the thing the market needs, or is this a lot of bot manipulation? Because I've seen that a lot on Twitter, and I think this is like the essence of like what people are kind of getting at. Like, it's just fake. It's just fucking bullshit. It's not, it's just like bots that are doing this. But I don't get that feeling, because when I think about the distribution for other tokens, a lot of it goes to the founders and a lot of it is distributed in a way where it is lopsided, where this has a different distribution. Is this like the nerve that needed to be hit in crypto to kind of level things up? Or can you talk about all that?
I mean, on the philosophical standpoint, I think that market that we went after, it was untapped. So like, in other words, zero distribution to the founders, no VCs, zero cost coin, and no supply. So that just smells like early blockchain. And I think people are really understanding that if they were early to the blockchain, then they would have experienced that with Bitcoin. And now they can kind of experience it with Zen. And in terms of the 5,000 addresses, so here's what we saw. The first person who tried to get in, we don't know who that is, but he was ready with maybe 100 wallets, maybe 50. I don't exactly remember the count. Maybe it was a bot, and potentially it was. So when we issued the notification that we're up and live, and I think people were monitoring maybe Etherscan or whatnot. So when we pushed the button, it was about 10:30 a.m. Pacific. Within 30 seconds, that bot or a person or whoever executed those 50 transactions, and they all failed. They all failed because Ethereum worked as advertised, and the limit on the gas that they have set was too low. So like literally you can see them failing hard within the first like 5 minutes, like everybody trying to get in.
Right around minute 3, 4, it's when it started to turn to like, you should speed it up for $54, $60, stuff like this.
Yeah.
When generally, I think people had 12, 14 when they clicked potentially. And, people, it's important to do a lot of transactions because you can get some nuance understanding on how they work just by doing a lot of transactions. And it's better to do that obviously in a free scenario, but you get a lot of that UI like in the back of your hindbrain when you do 200, 300 transactions, even if they're very minimal things. And I'm telling you, I run into it all the time. I get a jam transaction all the time doing nothing. So it does happen anyway. And then I just wanted to ask one question here. The first one that got asked, 2.25 million USD spent in ETH gas fees in less than 24 hours. Jim Rat Crypto, what does Jack think about this? And I want to add to that and say, is there negatives or positives as far as the general other ecosystems in the Ethereum network?
So if you're an Ethereum validator and you put up money to secure the network and you're getting yield, it's definitely been a positive day for you. And at the same time, it validates the validators existing during the bear market, where nobody's sending any fees to anybody. So that is what Ethereum, the genius design was, is that it was developed with a foresight for other projects to make it better. And specifically, if something like Zen or more things like Zen come out, or any sort of popular thing that's actually useful, then the validators get their share. And by the way, half of that gas was burned, like literally. So if this is $2.2 million right now, I haven't looked, at least $1 million just disappeared. It was burned. So that's how the gas fees work. So that's better for Ethereum holders, and it's better for the ecosystem, because ultimately the reduction of supply of Ethereum plus the proof of stake switch right now is just overall great. I think. I mean, the negative, I don't really see the negative. I mean, like, think about it. Yes, there was a spike to like 200 Gwei for like 10 minutes. Okay, well, no big deal. So some people were overzealous and they were beating the price up. But you know what? They had the freedom and the choice to do it. Nobody asked them. They just did it. I mean, for me personally, I think having that much gas spent on a crypto that has no value actually indicates to us that there is value. So somebody is thinking there is value, even though on paper it hasn't been allocated or pre-minted. It's worth exactly zero, but the anticipation for the market to value it is high, because I think for the 6 hours we were doing 55% of all Ethereum transactions, all of them. So that's more than half. And somebody on the Telegram channel, they examined an Ethereum block and they confirmed it. Like within the Ethereum block, 55% of all transactions were just us.
Wow.
So, which is incredible, right? And again, this is interesting. You create something. You create something that has no monetary value. Like you're not pumping it from day one. You're just sending out an idea and saying, "Hey, you can be Satoshi. You just need a little bit of gas." And so I think that resonates with people and gets people excited, and that's why it happened.
Do you think it resonates with some of those early Bitcoiners?
I am an early Bitcoiner.
I know you are. So like, I'm asking about like you guys were clicking, lots of cheap things that ended up being lots of money in the future. And so you kind of see that, right? You were spending limited USD for something that had potential to be very obviously expensive. So do you think it would resonate with that crowd at all? I'm kind of curious, like, who do you see I mean, obviously the Hex community, some of the smart Hexicans have lots of money in crypto. They love to speculate on things like this. But what other communities and people and ideas and things have you seen as far as you're collecting just social data? Like, what have you seen? What other people popping in? What kind of users are you seeing around?
So it is obviously a lot of Hexicans, obviously. And I think the reason why that happened is because, well, I mean, we've been talking to each other for a few months now, right?
2 months, I think, 2 or 3.
Yeah, but the reality of the situation is that the Hexican community understands self-custody, understands first principles of crypto, even though it wasn't really voiced in those particular terms. But I think in this community, in our community here, you remember how I used to say everybody's a Hexican, they just don't know it yet? what I meant to say by that is that people eventually are forced to appreciate first principles when they lose their money to Celsius or to whoever else.
Or someone steals their phone and empties their bank account, steals their ID, and the bank doesn't get back to them for a week.
Exactly. Or an IRS comes and does a withdrawal from your bank account and they wouldn't even tell you they're doing it. And they have full legitimate right to get that done. I mean, according to the law, right? I haven't come up with that law, but hey, I'm a subject to it. And so is everyone else. And so self-custody is the number one thing. And so I feel like in this particular community, people are really sensitive to what scam is and what it's not. And I think the community has spoken that Zen project resonates and definitely doesn't have the scamminess out there that, I mean, the code isn't copy pasted and again, start at zero and it's fair. So it's fair for everybody. And we're doing our best to make it even fairer.
I don't think people define unfair properly in their own heads. I think they're kind of hypnotized by sometimes their own wealth. But everyone had a lot of things to say to me about all of this, but all their points could literally be flipped around to the asset that they have the most of, except it's more unfair because you could buy such a large amount at the bottom. You can stake such a large amount early. The rate always changes upward, which is great to a degree, and it ratchets at a fair-ish rate, which is nice. But I'm too aware of how front-loaded it is with people with large amounts of money. For me personally, when crypto moves so forward, like staking my stuff out for a long period of time, a large portion of my wealth has never been a game plan for me, although I've did it with an amount. I'm just curious. I forgot what my question was, but I'm probably going to let Sam go if my question didn't make sense.
You were talking about the bot potential failed transactions a few moments ago. And I think that you were going to go into more depth about the explosiveness of this and talking about the GUI. I just wanted to touch on that to see if you had anything else to say on that before asking.
Well, I want the GUI. Are you going to go into GUI?
Not yet. I want to see if you about the explosiveness of like this has hit a nerve to the point where 250,000+ wallets are, even if you give them an average of 100 wallets per user because there's a shitload of bots, like that's still tremendous, the amount of adoption in a very, very, very short period of time.
So here's what we see. We see 3 to 4 to 5 at most wallets per person. So we do not see hundreds and thousands of wallets per person.
That's what I assumed.
So with the testnet, we saw about 10 to 12, but that's to be expected because obviously people are coming in and they're testing with multiple wallets, that they're testing everything. But with the real mainnet, we see 3 to 4. And here's how we see it. So we have Google Analytics on the website. So it gets the sample of the unique users coming in during the 24 daily, daily period. And then what we're doing is we're comparing it to everything they have done on the website. And at least the people that are using the website are not doing more than 3 or 4 wallets. At least that's the website. Now, when it comes to bots, and there are some bots, obviously, that people are coming in with 100 wallets, whatever, or maybe 150, maybe 200.
That's too much gas for me.
We see them too. And they have definitely been discouraged by the price war, gas war that is. So it literally it took. So like what happened is this: a lot of bots came in, limited their gas. All of them have timeout, and they all lost their gas. So that gas is not refundable. So that's kind of like a little slap on the wrist, just so like, hey, you're maybe. The network is telling you you're misbehaving, you will fail if you continue on that path, potentially. And so that's, it's hard to chase the gas price. Or if you're willing to burn millions of dollars, I mean, by all means, you could. But here's the thing. So you're coming in with a bot today and you have 100 wallets. But you know what? There's 250,000 wallets on top of you right now. How does it feel now having those wallets? I mean, you feel a little bit diluted, right? So, and what if it goes to 1 million in a couple of days? Again, how are you going to feel about minting for 200 wallets, right? I mean, yes, you can say I'm 1 in 1,000 and I'm special, whatever. But hey, you paid a lot of gas, and ultimately you will be diluted hard.
Yes. And you could generally, if there's active liquidity and volatility, which I 100% expect, generally you could use that USD and turn it around. I mean, I would still say mint a good amount because you want to participate. But then generally what I would assume is that with extreme volatility and an active amount of liquidity, you could probably get some crazy deals at certain points in history in the upcoming 4 or 5 months. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. So what really surprised me is that 4,000 or 5,000 people have minted for one day, which means that we're going to have liquidity exactly in 2 hours. So in 2 hours, I would say in 1 hour and 50 minutes, liquidity is going to unlock.
Price prediction.
This is literally what I wanted to talk to you about next. So please.
Okay, perfect.
Keep going.
So an hour ago, if you asked me about the price prediction, I would have said something different. So here's what changed. Within the last 30 minutes, I found out that Hotbit and MEXC are listing Zen.
Okay. So that is accurate because we had somebody say that they were listening to it, and somebody else.
Well, we just want to be careful because they're going to list a specific thing.
Yeah, I was the one. Yeah, because I was the one who mentioned it. The listing that was up there to me seemed fake, but
Okay, so I got some messages. I checked MEXC and I checked Hotbit, and what I see is them pointing to our contract. So like specifically our contract, our white paper. I think Hotbit was trading some fake stuff a few hours ago, but they may have switched to the right contract. So whenever you go to those exchanges, if you want to poke around and do something, always look at the contract ID. It has to match, like literally click on it and see if it goes to the right contract and see if it has 250,000 transactions. But most importantly, look at the total supply. Total supply now is 0 because it hasn't been 24 hours for Zen to occur. So it is kind of like a rare condition where a crypto project has no supply, and within 2 hours it's going to have supply. So what I think AMAXC is going to do, they're going to put up USDT and become a market maker. So whoever mints Zen today will be able to send it to MEXC and then trade it for USDT if they want to. So MEXC probably, I haven't talked to them, so it's not official, but the way that I understand things could work is that they may have a budget, and the budget could be $1 million, could be $2 million, whatever, and they literally would put a limit order to buy up. Maybe it's going to be staggered limit order, like a ladder, and they will buy it at this level, this level, this level, and this level, which is actually would be good for the community to get some USDT out right away. Assuming they can transfer out from MEXC back to their wallet, then that's fine. I mean, assuming that they're not being scammed with a different contract, that's fine also. So I think we'll have liquidity on Uniswap, MEXC, and Hotbit within a couple hours.
Is Hotbit a centralized exchange?
They're also, I mean, those two, they're centralized, obviously. I mean,
no, I know. I was just wondering. I didn't know. I've never done Hotbit.
Hotbit, BIT.
We're plebs.
Dude, I don't even know how to. I mean, I have. It says Hotbit, the world's. BIT.
BIT, hot BIT. Okay, so do your own research, guys. I've never heard of that site before, but if they're listing it, check the contract address, check it, start with us.
And I'm going to be looking at all 3 of these websites when they go live. So whether these 2 guys are still sitting next to me, obviously everyone has stuff to do. I got canceled on by my family for family time, so I am going to sit here and cover live the liquidity because I want to know. I need to see how this works out. I must see. So that is part of my routine. So let's not get too much into the nuance there because I will be watching it. So like there is some unpredictable factors to those things when it comes to price volatility. And I'm sure Jack has an idea of what he thinks will happen, but I'm sure he knows, like, who knows what will happen.
So question for Jack on this. If MEXC and Hotbit are listing Zen and they have X budget to do that, they would have had to either mint Zen or they're going to have to go to a decentralized exchange, right?
Not
Uniswap.
necessarily. Not
How would
necessarily.
can you explain how that works, please?
Okay, so here's what they may do. They will say, and by the way, on EMEXC, if you go to the markets, spot market, you're going to see Zen listed as number one to go live in 5 hours.
Wow.
So here's what they're doing. They're trying to market it and attract people. I don't know if you guys can see.
And why are they doing that? Just because they see the volume, or is it because that you somehow get in contact with them? I'm just curious. Like, is that how that works? Like, how do they even know?
I think they have research teams.
Yeah.
And then when they looked at this thing coming up, they saw the volume and they're like, okay, we have to list it. And so, but anyway, going back to liquidity, and here's what they could do. So they're marketing it right now, and a lot of people are showing interest. Like they're literally, it's on top of their page. So whoever is using MEXC, they're getting exposed to this even outside of decentralized world and so on and so forth. And so what may happen is that the people with Zen that actually interacted with Zen contract will mint Zen in 2 hours. And then knowing that MEXC has the market, they can simply transfer, lose their keys, so to speak, and lose their coins to MEXC, and because that's what we say, what happens on the centralized exchange. But there, what will happen is that MEXC will match the token's contract where it's coming from. If it matches, it's going to drop in their pool for trading. And MEXC probably has a limit order to buy it. And so they become the market maker. Once they accumulate enough Zen for themselves, they will then start setting up, pairs and trading similar to how DEX would work, but they will all do it internally on their platform.
Do you think that there's still enough, I want to say FOMO, but I don't think that's actually the right word. I think that there's a strong energy that this like just touched on that. Whether it persists, this will be super interesting to watch how this plays out the rest of the week.
It affected me,
and I was shocked with this morning. I thought, okay, you're going to see this giant spike, and then I thought it was going to taper out drastically. But do you think that when this goes live? Obviously, we're not doing any price predictions. You guys should fucking, use your functioning gray matter to make your financial decisions. But Zen's going to go live in 2 hours on Uniswap or thereabouts. There's a lot of energy out there for people who want to get involved, who don't understand minting, right? Like we're understanding it. We're a lot deeper than a lot of people are in here. Do you think that that's going to just run the price up?
I think anything that has low liquidity will run the price up, and anything that's, think about it. Let's say that you're just not comfortable or do not have the time to read the white paper, but you see something trending, you will jump on it, and then you'll try to get off at some point. So this is all natural ways of price discovery. That's what we would expect to see. But I'm really curious about what will happen to MEXC, because they have obviously a lot of users and they have markets out there, Asian markets, that just learned about Zen overnight. And we see it in Google Analytics.
And those guys, I'm telling you, just from my interaction with crypto, when ETF and ETW, when anything with any volume gets listed, they want action. They want action, and they do it immediately, and they want to be the first guy that gets action because they want that to be, it's a cool thing to do. When it's like the beginning, you're like, oh, use MXC on this one. And then people stay there for a while. And that's what the guys like. I want to talk about one thing. And again, I'm going to be doing a lot of content, guys, today. But this is something that I have to ask. So will Zen Network be integrating atomic swaps, layer 0, between different blockchains deployments of Zen?
At this point, the answer is no, because there is Stargate and they do atomic swaps. So if anything, we'll just work with Stargate and it's going to work automatically. What is
an atomic swap?
An atomic swap is is basically something that that cannot be undone. So like unlike the bridge, so the way that the bridge works is that you deposit the funds, and then it searches for a pair to swap it in on the other side. And those pools, they're kind of like independent, like where you deposit and where you get the emissions from. And sometimes you actually do not have the liquidity on the other end, and you wait and wait and wait for this liquidity to show up, and then eventually your transfer will go through. So that's a non-atomic swap. An atomic swap, when there is a guaranteed liquidity on the other end, or it's not going to go. So like whenever you tell Stargate, move my USDT over to Binance or over to Polygon, it happens within seconds, and the liquidity is assured. It's kind of like FDIC insurance of cross-chain swapping. And so that portion is extremely fast, and there's a lot of content on Stargate. I would advise you guys check it out. It's really cool. But the way that the interchain swaps will work is that there's SushiSwap pools that are integrating Stargate. So we will have SushiSwap pools for Zen on mainnet, Ethereum, and also Binance and Polygon, and they'll have different rates. So USDT or USDC to Zen is going to be like 1 to 1,000, let's say, on Polygon, and 1 to 100 on Ethereum. So the difference between 100 and 1,000 is exactly what 10, right?
And based on like the adoption too, that's probably how it should be. Like that feels natural. That feels real. It feels like there's interplay between the chains, but they're not going to necessarily be the exact same number, I don't assume, because the gas fees to mint them are just so different.
For sure, it's not going to be the same number. But that's what's interesting about it, is that for the marketing purposes and getting Zen out to the world, even if Zen is worthless on Binance and worthless on Polygon, people who use those chains can really understand the project by interacting with it. They're not going to make much money or anything, but they will eventually come to Ethereum and provide liquidity there and provide their presence. So for marketing purposes, you want to be on all legit chain out there. So we're thinking, obviously, Avalanche, Binance, Polygon, ETHPOW. I like that place being a sandbox, but I will not ever like say, hey, those ETHPOW guys are not about to pull a fast one on you, because
well, I'm not willing to say that at all either.
So that's a disclaimer. I mean, I could say that Polygon is pretty safe. I could say Binance has issues.
I think people are speculating more on the low liquidity aspect over there at the moment, and less on the like natural health, because that's less of their control, I think. You know what I mean? They kind of just opened it up, and I'm going to ask a couple questions real quick so I can make sure I don't forget. Let's try to do it kind of ish quick. Jack, did the launch go as you expected? Have your long-term visions of Zen changed anything because of how the launch went? And that's from Mr. KH. Thank you for the super chat, sir. Great to see you in here. Cool picture.
I think the launch went fantastic. If anything, it's just boosted my energy at least 1,000 times in terms of doing what I wanted to do. And it just proved to me that there is validation, huge validation, with the message of the project. And I think we're going to obviously stay the course and continue to develop Fair Crypto Foundation and endorse projects that work with us. Like, for example, you could use Zen for your projects that you would be launching. So immediately after our launch, somebody launched NFTs. I know guys that are already thinking about pooling your stuff and doing pools and all sorts of stuff already. Have guys that are thinking about it. So assuming you're not a scammer, and assuming that your project will reinforce first principles of crypto, we will be promoting you. We will use our platform and our visibility to the world to make you visible, because we think we can. That's the tenets of my foundation. We want to make crypto better, and so we will help those people with marketing and whatever they need.
Great answer. That's everything I wanted to hear, and some more. Question: when will Zen launch on BSC, Polygon, and Avalanche? You kind of went to that, but if you want to be specific.
So no specific timeline right now. I mean, I do know that obviously Ethereum mainnet's working as expected. So far, no issues, and we're not really getting killed by the support requests. So which means that gives us green light for Avalanche, Polygon, and BSC. Pretty simple to do it. It's just a matter of making sure that nothing breaks with the web app.
I had a question to add on to that last question before Richard's Rich's question. I had heard, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I would like to ask you that there's optimizations that could be done to the contract for gas to make the effect on gas less. Is that accurate, or is it you have a team building around it? So I have no idea if it's accurate or not. I heard it.
So the code is solid in the sense that there's no way you can make any changes to improve on gas. I mean, we did what we could to improve on gas before. Right now, it's about 185,000 gas to start your mint. And that's how it's going to stay. But the GUI will definitely affect it.
But what I was thinking for BSC, Avalanche, or Polygon, or any other networks, is there going to be any like modifications to try to optimize that, or I haven't thought about that?
No.
Really yet.
So here's the thing: we want the code to be the same. So we do not want even anybody having any thinking that we are trying to scam by launching on different chains with different code and calling it Zen. So that's not going to happen.
Where does Pulse Chain come into this? Because Richard mentioned that he's forking the system state of Ethereum 1 rather than 2 yesterday. Does that change anything as far as the dynamic over there? He mentioned that he's forking. Yeah, I was just curious. I don't know like enough probably.
Yeah, no. I mean, like the only difference is really the proof of work versus proof of stake, but it's all the same in terms of content of your contract and all of the transactions and the ledger, basically.
That sounds efficient.
How do you think the launch on BNB and Matic will affect the overall price on ETH? Also, do you think we should just keep it on ETH and PLS? This is from the Rich Action Show. Hey, that's a nice shot there. You're in a suit, sir.
So
ahead, Jack.
I'm going to say something controversial. I'm going to say that even though you will be spending less gas on BNB or Binance, us launching there and everywhere else will actually improve price on ETH. It will improve price there. And the simple reason is this, is that people after playing on Binance will gravitate towards Zen on Ethereum and will create more mint pressure and the buy pressure on the DEXs, just because there's more visibility. I mean, think about it. What if tomorrow I told you that there will be 10 million users just coming in? It doesn't matter where they're coming in from, they just come in. That much influx of users will push price discovery to the higher level, not lower. Like people are not going to be it's like, oh, look at my trillion Zen on Binance. Well, okay, so it's trillion, but it's 1 million times less expensive or less valued.
Right. Nobody understands like the value to arbitrage ratios without having done it themselves to a degree. Like you've had to have like experience some of that. Like if you experience ETH-F and ETH-W and ETH on POS, I think you got a good little taste. I think that was a nice little free airdrop, right? Like it was a free airdrop. So I think that was a good little taste of how to move through chains and just experience it, guys. You must experience crypto because it is a little different from what you're used to. But once you see it 1 million times, I'm telling you, it gets really, really, you start to understand the liquidity more. You start to understand that it really is just dollar in, dollar out. But if you spread it in the right areas and these LP pools can support each other. So just because there's a lot of energy within the gas fees there, that doesn't mean that you're not getting a better deal when you're minting on Ethereum. It doesn't mean that at all. You might be getting a better deal because you're spending more on gas fees, but over time, I think it'll settle out. And I don't think the gas fees as a complete, because a lot of people are saying gas fees are ruined on Ethereum forever. I'm calling you out as an absolute moron if you think that's true. If you think that Zen will ruin gas on Ethereum forever, you lack critical thinking skills. I'm sorry. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
I would like to dive into I would like to get into the gas thing too, but on your previous point, where you believe, it sounds like you believe, I could be wrong here, please correct me, where Ethereum is going to have a higher price than these other chains. And And then I looked to the example, like what GRC was saying with Hex, right? So Hex just got forked to these other networks, same code, right, on these other networks, and it is cheaper. But in the argument piece or the thought process of having these on these other networks is actually going to help the one on Ethereum. It appears, and I could be wrong, and this is just a microscopic viewpoint of like fucking 3 weeks, but in this 3-week period of time, I've been watching Etherscan, and the growth of Hex has been negative for several days right around the beginning of it. Overall, it's still growing, but there was several days in a streaky period of time where those users were coming from Ethereum and leaving Ethereum mainnet, and it looked like they were going over there. We can't, maybe there was just a exodus, right? But so I was curious to see if you like what your thoughts were on that, or if you've heard that, because if somebody's like, this is the same exact thing, you're going to have a bridge that is trusted, right? In terms of Stargate with SushiSwap, maybe the prices should be closer to parity.
No,
Because
definitely not going to be at parity. And that's because like a lot of people misunderstand how Stargate works. So Stargate mostly just moves stable coins. Stable coins are pegged 1-to-1. They have parity. So BUSD is tradable for USDC through Stargate 1-to-1. Where the native tokens, like let's say Zen on Binance versus Zen on Ethereum, has their own liquidity pools in completely different ratios. There is no way, and obviously different contracts. So the contract itself will have different supply. It will have different number of wallets. That being the case, the local market will decide the rate to the stable coin. And then should they want to move from one market to the other, and I'm talking about chains here, they will first have to swap from Zen to the USDC or BUSD, and then transfer to USDT or USDC to Ethereum, and then swap there. Now, Stargate does it automatically. You can literally say, value my Ethereum Zen on Binance, and it will probably just look up at all the swap ratios and say, okay, your million Zen on Ethereum is worth 100 million Zen on Binance today. Rates subject to change based on market conditions. And that is the best outcome for the price, because the market, this global intelligence of all the humans using that market, will establish the proper ratios. And Stargate will just do its thing, transferring stable coins and then dumping them into the pool and making a transaction automatically.
Okay, you've got to learn more about how Stargate works. GST had mentioned some people think that like Zen has crushed or ruined gas fees on Ethereum, and I've literally
That's a low hanging fruit way to come at something that's successful. Like it's like, okay, we have to. There has to be something. Okay, they paid money. Okay, yeah. Okay, so they had to pay something. So just say that it's ruined forever. But in reality, I've seen these prices spike like this 100 times. Sometimes for a day, sometimes for 3 months. And sometimes I'm priced out for months. The truth is, my first transaction was $12. I think the worst one was $45, and I think the average was probably $25. But I was just doing it because I was excited, not because I really cared about getting optimal rates for anything. So,
well, it's $5 today, so you can average down your gas price.
Yep, average down, guys. But it's true. But it really doesn't matter if you average down to a degree, in my opinion. I know that's a weird thing to probably say, but
I mean.
In my opinion, like if it's negligible amount of money for you anyway, like the US dollar is going to be proportional to somewhat gas fee wise to per unit on Ethereum.
I would say, I mean, listen, this is an 8-year experiment. Ultimately, after 8 years, the liquidity is 2% of the supply, and when I say supply, I actually mean the supply of people that are willing to stake it. Some people will not even be staking it. Let's say only 30% of the supply is staking it. 2% is going to be 1/3 of that, which is what, like 0.7, 0.69, or whatever, 0.71.
Imagine how many pools there will be.
Yeah.
What do you think though? Like, so say Zen launches in 2 hours. There's a lot of extra energy that want to buy, right? So say the price goes up. And I'll say like relative to the average cost of Gwei, right? Whatever that is, and say if it's a 10x or a 20x or something, which easily could be possible, right? And
Yeah.
so you have say a 10 or 20x increase in the price of Gwei. So your $6 is now worth $60 or $120, and then it makes sense from an economic standpoint for people to continue to mint as quickly as possible to arb that, so to speak. And I think that might be the thought process people are thinking about the price of Zen, because if there's a differential between what you get and what you pay, then we're like taught you buy the lower thing and you sell the higher thing, right?
I think what may happen in terms of arbitrage wise, somebody may be spending, let's say somebody spends $30 to use any number of addresses for a day. That mints Zen quickly within 24. I mean, after 24 hours, you can claim it. So you know that you have spent $30 on gas. Would you be interested in selling it for 20, 30, 60, or 90? So I would say likely what people would do, they would say, listen, I spent this day, I spent this gas money, this is what it cost me. I want triple tomorrow, triple of that. And there may be buyers because somebody will say, I don't want to wait until Monday. I want to get that Zen that's been minted for a day, thinking that the gas price will actually be maybe $50. Who knows? We just don't know.
I do.
And so
Less than that.
And so likely my advice to myself, not to buy Zen 3x versus what the gas price was. Not yet. Not yet anyway. I mean,
I would give it, I need at least 3 months for those numbers to accumulate to the point where maybe, I don't know, things are so explosive, but I mean, a few months to get some circulating supply in there, right, Jack?
We're going to see earlier bigger circulating supply, and it's going to be crazy. What's really interesting about this is that there's no supply. The supply is coming today, and I'm not the one, and none of my team are the ones who are providing this market-making liquidity, which is great. It's going to be completely community, completely, which is epic, I would say.
There's a couple questions that I heard that are a little controversial, but you can probably answer them in one word.
Sure.
So people are saying, okay, the first 5 minutes there was a block or everything was going wrong. That's when Jack and his team were botting up everything. So that was the first thing that people were saying. Jack's botting up everything in the first 5 minutes because his superior software, all that kind of stuff. What do you have to say about that? Like, I mean, people can choose to believe what you say or not.
Did you mint 250,000 wallets, Jack?
Jack? Gas, Jack. It's a lot of gas, Jack. You're getting that gas money, Jack.
Yeah, that's. I mean, now we can say it's. Wait, what happens when we divide 250,000 into 2.5 million? What do we get?
256,000 divided by 2.5 million.
Right. How many?
1 cent. Oh, I'm sorry, 10 cents. 10 cents.
No, isn't it the other way around? You divide the bigger number by the smaller number.
What's 2.5 million? What is that number?
It's the total number of gas spent. So there's 250,000 wallets, right? So dollars per wallets, how much is it?
Oh, 250. Yes, the other way around. So that's $10 per wallet.
Okay,
9.76.
There we go. We have our average. So on average, in terms of people spend money on gas, it's only $10 per transaction. Actually, it's not that bad. You're muted.
GRC, you're muted.
I was saying some gold too. But so the average of the transaction, so there's $10. We'll put that at $10. And then let's say there's 6 accounts per person. That's what we were putting our number at, for just to be on the upside a little bit.
Sure.
That's $60 per person, guys.
42.
And that's what I was trying to publish. I was like, guys, I did 8 transactions in the first 10 minutes. It was $200. That was the worst moment to do it. And I did it just because I wanted to participate, but that was the worst of it.
let's say 6 wallets per person. Today they're making 30,000 Zen per wallet. 6 times 3 is 18. So let's say roughly they're gonna get 200,000 Zen. And it cost them what? Did we say $60? Okay, so 200,000 Zen is $60 in gas.
Okay.
I'm thinking the market will value it at least triple.
So 60. Let's do this. $60 divided by what you said, 200,000 Zen, correct?
Yeah.
Or
So how many cents per Zen is it when we? I think let's not do the 60. I think it's gonna be triple, and triple is about $200 for 200,000 Zen. So that's my estimate for the price.
2 zeros and a 1. So it's 1/10 of 1 penny.
Somebody call the SEC. This guy's out of control. No, I'm just kidding. You know, like at the end of the day, we are just speculating to a degree because the market can do weird, oddball things.
Right.
Sometimes this way, and it gets a little bit freaky. So just be careful, guys. Please. There's strategic people. There's people that are money hungry. This is for everyone, you know. And there's people in the ecosystem that will take advantage of you if you have no idea what you're doing. So that's just the way life works. Like they're going to get you to be in a position where you don't understand and you make moves that are in their best interest while you have no money and they have a lot.
So I estimate 5,000 wallets minting today. 5,000. Each wallet will mint 30,000 Zen.
5,000 though. That's already happened though in the last since we've been on the call here, right? I just pressed refresh.
No,
We're
what I
talking
mean
about
is
one
that
day mints.
1 day mints.
Oh, 1 day
for
mints.
about 5,000 wallets. So that being the case, it's 5,000 multiplied by 30,000, and it may be actually be 50,000 because of the giant spike over the S-curve adoption.
That'd be 150 million total supply of Zen. And if you said there's 5,000 wallets, and let's say the average was $10, that's $50,000. So $50,000 divided by 150 million is 4 zeros and a 3.
Yeah, I think it's going to be triple of that just because people are degenerates. The ones who will be trading on the first day, they're going to push it high.
Yes, and
It doesn't matter.
So be careful, guys. That's what they do. That's classic crypto. Let it happen. Let it be. Don't do anything serious. You can play around and have fun with little amounts of money, of course, if that's the kind of person you are. But I'm telling you, if you're out there to make $1 and you don't know what's going on, you are going to lose.
Yeah. Be very careful on the first days. It started 0. Though we do know that people have paid $2.5 million to mint it. So it started 0, but yet people spent $2.5 million. So
Jack, the mobile guys lost their shit. The
mobile guys?
Yeah, and I don't know anything about using crypto on mobile because
okay, so here's what happened. MetaMask a day ago pushed an update, like literally with the new version of MetaMask. Like you probably have seen it asking for an update. A lot of people updated. It have created a new feature called privacy. So in security and privacy, there's a little tab that you need to disable because that tab blocks the MetaMask communications to the web services that run on crypto, which is ridiculous. But you will not be able to use MetaMask unless with the browser and with the protocol, unless you disable that privacy new toggle that they have. Let me just double check. I have a screenshot of it because I told my guys to look at it, and that's what they said. And when I disabled mine, it started to work. So privacy mode. I don't know if you can.
It's getting there close. I don't know if it's going to
Scooch
do
it
it.
back a hair right there.
There we go.
Yeah,
Privacy mode. So you have to check the box for privacy mode?
Off. Take it off. And when you do that, it will actually load on mobile just fine.
Because there were some people that were asking about
Yeah,
that.
and this is my mobile on Safari. It didn't work this morning. Did not, because we ran out of Infura credits. Like
what is it? What is Infura credit? Is that where you pay AWS or something?
No, we pay for RPC integration to Ethereum. So they're running the nodes. And I got the highest plan with them, but because the load of queries to blockchain that they were proxying for us was so huge, they started to throttle us. And so we switched to another provider. So we have Alchemy, QuickNode, Infura, and we're running our own nodes too. So that's like a quadruple bypass. If we need to do it, we can, to connect to blockchain.
So there's a variable cost then to launching, like at least the network in terms of the site. Like coins launched, right? But like the Zen.network, there's a variable cost that comes along with that. That's more than just the $6 for hosting annually or whatever.
Well, we pay for it. We pay for the blockchain communications. It's just the name of the game. I mean, you want to have a project, you pay for the backend. And so in Infura, they just started to throttle us, and that caused issues with mobile. Now it's fixed. We're actually on QuickNode right now. So QuickNode, Alchemy, and Infura, they're all providers for web connection to blockchain. So they're kind of like a protocol transmission system.
So Infura, when I was looking at, we actually looked at it in the show, but they had around 40 to maybe 50% of all nodes on Ethereum proof of work before it switched to proof of stake. And it was run by Infura. So that was, when I'm tying this in, I'm like, oh, that's actually how they're monetizing running all those nodes, is by selling the data to other people.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about liquidity pairs.
Yeah.
They're like, what are your thoughts on pairing Zen? What do you think it's going to be paired with most? Is there some pairs that are more advantageous than other pairs to pair Zen with? And just your thoughts overall on that.
So if you look at PulseX, you can actually see Zen paired with a bunch of coins. And somebody sent it to me. I think Hex and Pulse is #1 pairs on PulseNet.
Which means that naturally people are going to do that when it's live.
Well, at least in the Pulse chain.
That's what I mean. Like the people over there already, if it's a live pair, there's going to be action.
Yeah, there's maybe 9 or 10 pools have been set up on PulseX, and the top are PLS and Hex trading for Zen.
Wow. Okay. So given that is a test environment, do you think that Ethereum and Zen and maybe Hex and Zen are going to be the top pairs in Uniswap when it launches, or do you think it'll be USDC? People seem to like pairing shit with USDC.
I think USDC has more liquidity, and so people likely will go for USDC. And also Ethereum has even more liquidity. So they're the most liquid ERC20 tokens, or there's actually wrapped ETH that's ERC20. ETH itself is not the ERC20. But anyway, so I would say those two, USDC and ETH.
Do you have like a preference, or is there like one that would be more advantageous than the other? Other than
I can only speak for myself what I would be using, and I would be looking at the pool. If I were to participate in setting up my own pool, I would say the pool with the top fees and the highest liquidity, but not only liquidity, but also volume, is the one that I would be participating in. So like, for example, Ethereum could be more liquid but have less volume than USDC. In that case, I would be playing with USDC versus Zen, just because you can buy it, probably just get, you're not going to buy it cheaper, but the transaction fees will reduce your fees overall.
I have this theory, this is the first time articulating it to people, but I think that like things that we consider should be real crypto, or a better version of crypto, like something like Zen, where you're abiding by like principles, is I think where you go crypto principles or whatever, and things that it is immutable. Nobody can touch your shit. It's been audited, it's been checked, and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that? I think that there could be a future where those type of assets are much, much more closely tied in liquidity than they currently are now. Right now, everything is kind of like tying into the mothership, as in where's the liquidity?
That's actually a good point. So yeah, I think if there is a project out there that adheres to first principles, and they're launching in a similar way, then probably it will make sense to pair those, because it's like trading the same ideology, right? So
That's
you're coming in with Zen and you're swapping Zen for, cool Zen, and it follows the same ideology. So why wouldn't you? I mean, do it. I mean, it's good for validation of that new project if somebody else comes up with it, obviously. And this is the point that I will make is, if we have people approaching us and saying, "Hey, we're launching this is what we want to do," and it follows those principles, we will make a directory of the projects and we will promote them. So if Zen is super popular and everybody knows about it, we will use that marketing power to promote the rest of the community's projects that are based on similar principles.
And it almost has, I don't know this to be true. This is my belief on this, but I think that almost has to be true in the long enough time period where they tied together around the ideology, right? But like, why are a lot of people in crypto to start with? Because they really they want to make gains, right? But they don't like the middleman that can F you over. They don't like not being able to do transact. Like, I got to do a wire Friday afternoon. I was like, oh, I got to do 2 wires, but I can't do them until Monday. Whereas if I had crypto, I could get them done in 2 seconds, right? And these things are all part of crypto. So it would make sense logically in my mind to have things where they're immutable, where they abide by the first principles of crypto, to actually be tied closer together in the future, because otherwise you're always going to be tied back to this thing that is centralized, like USDC, or things that are not as superior, even though that's where liquidity would go, right? The liquidity would migrate to other places over time. I don't know if we are the people who start creating this change to have the liquidity.
Yes, we are. I am.
I think together we can make a difference.
Yeah,
and
that's one of my goals.
Yeah, and if Zen is any indication what the community could do, that could move a needle hard. So I think we should all focus on the sort of ideology that we believe, and and you know what, I think it's gonna help Hex too.
I agree.
I do too, and that's why it makes me want to push harder. Because I do love Hex. I really do. I love the ethos. I love a lot about it. I love how much I've learned. I love the token and I like the yield and all that stuff. But the community being just like Bitcoin or Bitcoiners were, the exact opposite of what Richard has taught us was, like he said, maximalism kills things. Bitcoin maxis are ruined. Ethereum maxis, they're not making enough money anymore. They think it's going to go up forever. Hex maxis, anything new comes out, and they say it's bad no matter what. No matter what. I covered Hedron and Icosa. I got the same reaction. It's a direct Hex derivative.
And this is
it's a direct Hex derivative, and I covered it on the show, and everyone called me a scam artist. And I was like, dude, literally, Alex just made free coins for all of you guys to play with, and you can earn yield on them. And now 5 times the people, volume-wise, are participating in Hedron transactions per day than Hex. So it's like network effect, Metcalfe's law. We learned all this stuff, but people want their money now. People want their liquidity right now. And I am going to pull up one tweet from K4K Crypto, and I like K4K Crypto, and I very much appreciate all his videos. I do. Like, they help me a lot, and he knows a lot about stuff. But I just kind of said it was a lazy take. So let me read it and let me know if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong on here. I have no idea. I was just saying what I thought. He said, imagine a token you can keep minting if you spend all day clicking a button and paying gas costs. The people who decide to game it the most will win and the rest will lose. Yes, that is a project that will launch soon. No, I don't think it will do well. And I said, lazy take. The supply mints over time, and it takes a long time to have active liquidity. So you can't just buy as much as possible right away, like most other stuff, which I like. That's all I said. You buy it while multi-wallet guys crackle. And this is one of the smarter guys in the community. And this bummed me out, man. And I'm not going to say, I'm like, I don't care. He could be right. Who knows? But like, I really think he's just being lazy on this. What do you think, Jack, as far as just answering what he said? Like,
so first of all, I'm going to say, when you say you buy, right, you're not buying. You're minting it for free. You're just paying a gas transaction to enable the mint. Are you really buying?
Well, I think he's assuming that it's going to be low liquidity, like the stuff that he studies at the beginning, and he doesn't know about the supply. So he's thinking like, yes, you're going to mint a whole bunch, and then all the dudes are going to come in and buy the whole circulating supply. But what he's missing is that the supply doesn't get minted all at one time, and it takes time, and that's because K4K thinks he knows math and scaling a little bit better than you off the cuff, assuming, and he's just like, I guess this dude hasn't planned any of this stuff out. But in reality, K4K, you just haven't studied the actual numbers, and you haven't looked at the math equations underlying some of this stuff that a lot of us have confidence in.
Well, the tricky part with Twitter is that now that he kind of made a prediction that it's not going to do well, what if it does well?
That's what I said earlier. I was like, these guys are really like, don't mind their reputation, because I cover it because I want to learn it. I'm not willing not to cover it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think you're gaining any sort of credit when you're, well, you actually don't know what it is, and you think you know, and then you're saying, I'm not going to do anything with it. I mean, well, you don't have to. It's, you know, it's freedom, right? I mean, it's your money. You can choose to pay the gas or not to pay the gas, and yeah, so it's,
well, they're warning people that they're putting money into something that's not active liquidity for them. Basically they're saying, hey guys, because basically what they're saying is, look at all these gas fees. They could have gone right into Hex. Why didn't they? Why aren't they in Hex? Why didn't they buy Hex? Because they think that there's more downside or whatever they think, but it's not going into Hex because the market said so. That's why it was sitting in ETH, and that's why it's now burnt. So
right
now in the minted for Zen. So I just want people to be like critical. I just want people to be a little more critical before they publish things. Especially,
yeah, I mean that's fine. I'm actually happy that he did it, because we needed at least one dissenting opinion, at least one.
Well, I'm having a guy on next week on Thursday who also has a dissenting opinion, and he also worked for Google, and like he has a crypto project, and he has a different opinion on it, but he's really like open-minded guy. So I'm going to have him on and talk to him because I want to talk to him.
I mean, like, hey, there's two things to think about Zen. So on the negative side, if I were to imagine negatives, somebody who is completely insane would be sitting in front of their computer and rubbing their finger against the keyboard or whatever, right? You know, keep hitting submit and sending money to Ethereum validators, right? So, and not learning anything in the process. They just like the numbers. Like every time you hit a button, you get a number. Maybe there's some people like that, but the majority of people are not like that. The majority of people want to learn new things, like crypto, what it means. And Zen is the lowest barrier to entry for it. There's no other coin that you can learn on besides, well, I mean, you could go to testnets and play with it all day long, but it's not as exciting because here we have a community that's extremely strong, and they believe in first principles. They believe in onboarding 96% of the world into crypto. It's going to help all of us. It's going to bring new brains, new thinking, paradigm shifting projects will come from that world that's untapped. Because think about it, it's not just 96% of customers. A good number of them are really good developers that will get into it. And it's going to help all of us.
And they're smart and they have different points of view because they come. I wanted to ask you about the Google Analytics, because these people are coming from it's not just like I'm on the East Coast, you're on the West Coast, Jack, and GRC's on the East Coast. It's not just this. You showed Google Analytics at some point yesterday that I was paying attention to. I don't know if you two were on or afterwards. I was doing some work and I think you had brought up some Google Analytics, and I saw that. I want to ask you, what is the most interesting or shocking thing that you took away from this? In terms of, was it just be like, hey, I think this is going to be the biggest in westernized countries, and you saw something completely different?
I expected 1,000 users a minute. We saw 16,000. So that was very strikingly unexpected. And I'm going to take a look at the map right now. So right now we have over 4,000 people have been to the site in the last 30 minutes. And in terms of the total people visiting in the last week, with the biggest number being last few days, 115,000. 115,000 unique users came to Zen.network.
Could we use that as a proxy to measure bot activity? Because it's measuring unique activity versus if I'm not unique, if I'm just sitting at the site and I have a bot set up.
In my experience, everyone always says this stuff about
Yes.
the bots, and it always
Yes, because bots do not come to the web page.
the back end. It's not on, so they can use a different front end because they're just going in through a different.
Right. So my point is that the users that we're showing in Google Analytics are real users.
Oh wow! Oh, so they actually went to Zen. He's saying like they went to Zen.network, and that means by definition they
So
were.
take a look at the screenshot I'm sending.
Wow, Jack, that's incredible.
You see that?
Oh wow!
So what are we seeing
Holy
here?
shit.
120,000 new users.
Holy
Right.
crap!
And that happened. And you see how it says direct? So it's not even like people searching or anything. Direct is that they have typed in Zen.network in the browser.
Damn.
And those are real users, right? That's not bots.
Dude, that is insane.
So what factor? Just to be conservative, right? So what factor? I've been to this site multiple times today just to refresh it, but I also have two computers and I've been on it on both computers, which would show up as a unique address. So how would we want to scale this? Oh, this is interesting. How would you scale that down? Right, from just saying that, like, okay, Sam has two computers. He's got two unique addresses that have both shown up on this data here. Would you scale that 120 down by 95%, meaning 5% down, or 10% down, or 30% down, or what's your thought on that? Because then I haven't been to it on my mobile, but some people maybe have a computer or two computers. They've been on the site in both, and then also their phones that would show up as like 3. I'm obviously being conservative here, but I know that there's going to be people out there who are just like, oh, that's not true, or whatever the case is, and they're going to want to make that more conservative. And I want to hear your thoughts on that.
You asked like 3 questions. I'm just trying to figure out which one to answer. So you're asking about the unique users versus what?
Versus like the people, like. Unique users are not always necessarily people. Like I could show up there 3 times.
You would be a unique person because what Google Analytics does, it looks at your agent, your IP probably. Maybe it will give you a cookie. I actually don't know. But there are several metrics. There's just page views, and then there's the unique users. And so somehow they figure out that where the uniqueness comes from. And it's all really just, I would say, interpretation and ratios and all that stuff. So, by the way, like looking at this screen right now, 60% is desktop and 40% is mobile. That's actually very positive for mobile. You know how we said that mobile didn't work? Well, it clearly is working. So, yeah. And also Nigeria. We're getting users from Nigeria. That's great. And
that's incredible.
And look at the other segment, the one in the Asia. So that didn't exist before.
Oh, so that could have some.
That was this morning.
Yeah,
could have some MEXC ties to that listing because the ETH really had a big old move over there too, and those are all. Aren't those guys all Chinese guys like that run that stuff? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably.
So maybe there's a lot of buzz around MXC, and then they see the next listing, and it's like, okay, the buzz for this is over. Let's check this out.
So let's see what else we have here. So retention numbers. Is it loading? There we go.
There's too much.
Oh, so this is interesting. So returning users, that's the users that are like OGs for the 48-hour period, and that's the new users. So that's cool. Engagement, acquisition overview. Let's see where they're coming from. or if it's
Thank you for sharing all this, Jack. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
yeah, absolutely.
Top tier information. Thank you so much.
And for coming on and answering all the questions.
Yeah, let's look again at real time.
It's actually, when I looked at the global map here, I thought it was kind of fascinating that Europe actually has more activity than the United States. If you look at if you're going by the size bubbles, like there's more in that happening in Europe than there is in the US.
It's interesting. So in US, I think the scale is a little bit off. So you can see 43 people from New York, 25 from Chicago, and like from Los Angeles, 42. London, just London alone is 110. And what is the large bubble? Warsaw. Oh yeah, so Poland's huge. And then there's smaller countries. And then is this? Yeah, that's China.
That's China.
Yeah, China coming. And then we have Singapore. So China, Singapore, Shanghai obviously is also China. I don't know what also that's Korea. Yeah, I think those guys are sleeping.
Yeah, this is cool.
So, but that's cool. Nigeria, and I've seen some tweets that Nigeria is going nuts. So, and that's where we are today. Let's see, what else do we have? So home, what does home say? We've been here before, but anyway, so I'm very, very excited about this. Oh, by the way, event count.
What does that mean?
Event count is how many times people interacted with the website. Like, for example, clicking on MetaMask or clicking anywhere is an event. So that's how many events we have had since a few days ago.
Wow, that is massive.
Conversions, though, that's a cool number, because conversions means that conversions means that you at least have attached your MetaMask or something like that. Or maybe you clicked on the button also. I need to really see what that means. This is interesting here. So United States is leading, but China is quickly catching up, and they weren't here before.
So when you say they weren't here before, you may have looked at this earlier this morning, and China wasn't even on the top list here.
Yeah, like look at the percentages. So like right now I'm hovering on United States. We see 1,743 in the last week. Look at China, 271,000%.
Holy crap!
So,
holy crap! That's a
jump, right? It's
Dude,
a jump.
I'm fucking confused. Ooh, snap! I said the word. I'm really confused. That's a lot of action. That's incredible, and that's potentially explosive situation.
Especially with those new exchanges coming in, because they're going to market this. And by the way, so you can see that this is the launch right here. And China, for the last few hours, they've been going over United States, just in this segment right here.
Do you think that, like, I'm going to call it, say, true crypto, like something that is decentralized, like that's for the people, where one person can't fuck shit up and that kind of thing, I think that potentially, obviously I don't have contacts, I'm not Chinese, I don't know about Chinese people, but I think that there may potentially be a bigger appetite for the truth around this kind of stuff in environments over there, which we just hear about all the censorship. We have our own censorship issues to deal with here, but over in China, I think they're playing a different type of game when it comes to censorship, and the appetite for this kind of stuff could be overwhelming compared to like the appetite here in the United States. But look at those numbers, 270% increase.
Yeah,
like that's astonishing. Though that's really high.
I don't think anyone could have even almost came close to that number. Like if you were like, what's it going to look like in China? You'd have been like, I have no clue.
Yeah, definitely no clue. But last night I was alerted that a Chinese Telegram group is being formed, and a lot of Chinese OGs in crypto reached out and they said, "Hey, I want to be moderators of that group. Is that cool?" I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I mean, you guys can do whatever you want. And they all speak in Chinese in that Telegram group. So, and that's when we knew that China is coming, because China was actually hotter in the evening hours last night, because I think they're gonna go to sleep at some point, right? So
Wow, this has been awesome. Is there any more chat questions that we want to get through that people have left over here? Whoops, I think I lost you guys.
I'm still here.
Oh,
there I am.
yeah. So let's see if there was any other questions here. Oh, we had talked about this earlier, but somebody had asked about time for release on other networks. 2 months, 6 months, a year. Obviously, we don't
No,
know.
it's gonna be days. It's gonna be days. I mean, the front end just needs to be adjusted slightly without being broken, and that's the number one objective. In terms of the contract deployment, it's just 30 seconds.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
It's a wild feeling, and it has nothing to do with money. I try to say that. I say that a lot because I really am not thinking on those terms at this point. I really don't even know anything about the statistics because there's no liquidity yet. But it's interesting. Seeing this much action globally is impactful in many different ways, especially at the pivotal point we are at in the market. Like, it's super pivotal. It means people are paying attention. It means they're getting ready in one way, shape, or form. There's action, guys. You know what we haven't had on Ethereum in the last 3 months? Action. No action. There's been none. And the volume goes down every day. HexPow makes the volume look like it's like, this is what I'm talking about. We need fuel. We need fuel. We need to push further and harder and be more open-minded. And that's the way that Hex, and that's the way that DeFi, and that's the way Ethereum and Zen will work out, because things like this make it better moving forward and more stable, because you want some value, like, you know what I mean? It just makes things better, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. And everyone could be making fun of me for this shit. But again, I just don't see it.
I think an ideology spreads faster than any crypto out there, because we're in this together. We are the people of this crypto revolution, and it's up to us to make it and make it amazing, or just make it not so amazing by just playing online casinos and wasting our lives. Or we could be engaging people and bringing them to the first principles of crypto, teaching them self-custody, censorship resistance, trustless consensus, all of those things. Just those 3 things alone can save somebody's life from being in financial ruin. And people were ruined by crypto, by Luna and everybody thinking those things were stable. I don't have my keys. I have my coins. I'm trusting some sort of management system to manage my stable coins. And guess what? They go bankrupt and you're done. All of your money is gone. You were thinking they were in a stable coin. But you give up your keys and now you're wrecked.
And a lot of those guys are smart too. Like, a lot of the guys that interacted with Celsius and Luna are not dumb guys. Like, they're not the epitome of, they're like guys that are engineers, guys that are smart. They thought they were taking a little half crypto risk. They ended up feeling too comfortable with it. They ended up moving too much of their position into it. And then the market does the market 90% dip. In those exchanges, those algorithmic situations, if they're not so tight, if they're not perfect, man, 95% will put them in liquidation mode for sure every time. And that's what they don't bank on. They're always like, bull market forever, and Richard's like 95% are coming in. And everyone's like, oh, no, not true. Not true. And it's like, dude, when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, this is just economic energy. We're further down the line, but we have a chance because of the technology, because you see what's happening to people. They're losing everything. They're getting robbed, their phones. If someone steals your phone and knows what they're doing, you're wrecked. I promise. If you have all your banking information on there and all of that stuff, which most people do. And then you're going to say, oh, let me go to my bank. Ring, 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 ring. 3 weeks later, you'll get a call saying, we're not giving you shit back. You're an idiot. Or they'll say, yeah, we'll give you your $2,000 back. But all the $50,000 they spent on the credit cards, not giving you that back. And then you're like, wow, how does this fix this? And then I say to a guy yesterday, he told me this exact story. I said, crypto fixes this. And he was like, dude, are you serious? And I'm like, dude, you just got robbed for everything you have. And he just was like, are you serious? These are smart young men too. Like these guys have way better jobs and allocates than I could ever have, but they don't think critically because they have trust in the system to a degree. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. My best advice is that yes, crypto can fix most of it. Just do not jump into centralized crypto. That is not crypto, because that's not fixing anything. That's you being taken advantage of. That is all.
And as far as the people that are naive about these subjects, should I generally just ignore and try to give the best information that I can? Like I always like to clap at people to kind of check them, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like I don't think it's good for anyone. I think it just adds more like negative animosity, and then the people kind of double down on it.
So the market will decide what's valuable and what is the truth. The market will do it. A single person will not do it. That is why when people say, "Hey, Jack, you just came up with this such a great idea and this and that," it's you deserve all the credit. It is actually not true at all. First of all, the idea is just Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin's idea. The first principles, I borrowed it from Elon Musk. He applied first principles to build SpaceX and to build Tesla. There's nothing revolutionary about this. Some person said that you have reinvented the wheel, except it's a ball. It's all the same thing. It still rolls, right? And it is really the community that's giving its value, not any particular single person. So anybody who comes up with
what's giving it value too is that all the balls are not in one position, one house. Like it's not one guy has it
exactly
all.
right. Make your own balls, make your own playgrounds, do whatever you want. The code is there. We happen to be the ones pushed it, but that's it. The code is there. It will never be changed, and Ethereum will take care of it.
What do you think about Sam Blankman or Blackman and him being against DeFi eventually? My man Pac-Man, he mentions this every show. Every guest I has, he asks the same question. He's very, very interested in this topic. But I am too, to agree, because he thinks the guys are like A1 scumbag, going to ruin everyone. I don't. I usually tend to think somewhere in the middle. Do you have any insight on this guy?
I don't have an insider information on him, but I would say that if he stands against DeFi, that's only because he's running the biggest casino in the world, right?
But isn't that to be expected? Like, I wouldn't blame the guy. Like,
of course,
if Richard came out with a centralized exchange and pushed it, all of these guys would put all their money in it.
Here's the thing: if you were to come up and say, "I believe in first principles, I believe in decentralization, and we're doing everything we can to support decentralization and blockchain," then rather than saying I'm against DeFi or whatever, and I actually don't know what he said.
I think he's pushing for legislation so his centralized exchange makes more money.
Yep, that money is a powerful motivator, right? But you know what? If that is really true, all of us, we can stand against it. We can say we don't need to be in another bank that calls itself a crypto trading platform. I mean, you can go there; it's your choice. But do know that anything that's centralized, where you do not hold your keys, that is not your crypto. You're just letting somebody else play with it, and they can disappear at any point for any reason, and your funds will be unrecoverable.
Yeah. As far as checking the liquidity out, what is, in your opinion, the best way to like get first glimpse on like the action that's going on? Because I can go to Etherscan probably would be the best way to do it.
Etherscan should show liquidity, like it will show the numbers. Like right now, it should say zero holders and 0 tokens. Like everything should be 0.
Do you have anything that you want to say to everyone? I mean, there's 475 people in here, and I've never had this many viewers before, so there's something going on, brother. I think
if I were to say anything, I would say I love you guys. And thanks for making this thing a success. And I just unexpected. It was just so unexpectedly crazy how so many people came. And I think I have a friend that actually said that, by the way, this action puts faith back in humanity in his mind.
I'm having similar feelings as well, and that's because I was going down a road that, yes, of course, I was going to make some money, I'm sure. Okay, but it's just as far as having really putting your face and name behind something, and that's what I do with Hex. But there's nothing else I have. There's nothing. There's not one thing, not even Ethereum to the highest degree, because I don't understand enough about the background. So, but Hex is different because if I'm going to rely on Ethereum anyway, it's like I'd rather have something that works a little bit better for me, or for the user potentially. But at the same time, it's like I use the staking function as exactly that, a long-term savings, something to put away, something to have accumulation. But I don't over leverage into positions because I feel as if it changes the way that you look at the world. If you do it too much, like I feel like having 3 houses and 100 Bitcoin and 500 Ethereum and 1,000,000 Hex is way better than having all of that into a Hex, or all of that into Zen, or all of that into anything.
I think even more important is that put the mental energy in self-education, because you will be making the right choices in regards to your money, in regards to crypto, all of the choices in your life. So mostly invest in your own education. That is as a priority. That is the number one thing. And it will set you free with the rest of your choices.
Yeah, that's exactly what I decided to do. I was like, in the beginning, you can take a lot of routes. I didn't know crypto that well. I said, you know what? I don't think people are studying this stuff as in detail as I really thought. And I said, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be the guy who studies too hard to the point where people are like, F this guy. He's thinking on a different plane. He's working too hard. I can't keep up with him. And I know hate comes along with that because I've done it before in other situations. But I'm willing to take the hate because I know there's guys in there that are slamming hammer against the wall just like I was and thinking, am I going to do this forever? Am I going to be on this tower? I was working on cell phone towers forever. Like,
Right.
And people were telling me, you're doing a great job. You are doing everything right. I was scared to death. I was like, I don't feel like I'm doing everything right. I don't feel like I have any creative or emotional intelligence. I want to feel inspired. That's all I ever wanted. I grew up around rich people. So like the money was not really like super like I knew that I could find resources if I needed. That wasn't really it. But I wanted to wake up in the morning and feel excited. And I never had felt that. I never, unless I was chasing chicks, like I don't think I had ever felt that feeling. But this is the first time since I quit my job like 220 days ago and started streaming. First time I said ever since that day, my life has changed. Like I haven't worked for anyone since. I haven't done anything on any other term but my own, and I've worked harder than I ever have. So it's been very fun, and this stuff like this keeps me going. This is fuel for me, whether I ever invested or not. Now I get to check out dense videos with super awesome, real game theory, different subjects, more learning, more situational awareness, more critical thinking. And I've already seen so many of the videos that I can only imagine they're going to make more. The Zen Education's videos are world-class, like you're going to a college course. And he's doing that for free, fam.
Exactly. So there's so many things that we have done pre-launch as a community that was just incredible and mind-blowing. Just incredible. And people ask me, when did I feel that it could be successful? And I started feeling it when we crossed 2,000 people on Telegram, and so much material was released out there completely without like grassroots. Like we didn't ask anybody to do anything, and people just got together and did it. It's just mind-blowing.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that it's probably a decent time for you to get off as you've been on here for a while. I am going to watch the Etherscan. So if you want to, like, I don't know, is that 5 minutes where it goes?
I would say set your alarm clock for 10:30 a.m. Pacific. It's going to be 10 a.m. now, and I know you're in a different time zone.
Okay, 30 minutes.
Yeah, in about 30 minutes, more or less.
Are you going to stick around with me, Bullish, more or less?
Well, I'm around until I knock out because I'm on no sleep.
All right, just let me know when you're headed out, and then I'll kind of probably be wrapping up. But Jack, thank you so much for inspiring me, and inspiring me, to focus enough where I could actually have an opinion and where I could actually feel And I know I did most of the work and really all the work, but you provided me with something that I could work on, think about, that something that I felt like had integrity. And while everyone was telling me how much integrity you didn't have, that's all they were telling me. Everyone knew exactly how much integrity you had. None. Right? Right off the bat, right? Like, and then guys like me are like, how do you know that? Like, how do you know? I met the guy. He seems awesome. I connected with him. We talked many times. He's been on everyone's stream. Why are you so certain? And I get that everyone's different and maybe you've done big business before, but I mean, for fuck's sake, like, can people read the room at all? It's ridiculous.
It's okay. It's totally fine. I mean, listen, let them do outrage marketing for me.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
I will never do outrage marketing, but if somebody wants to come up with statements,
At this point in time, I made no mistakes.
that's fine. So it's I mean, it's fine with me. It comes with the territory. It's to be expected. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, see, you're probably more used to it. And like, I'm getting a little bit of it just for the first time. I've never done any of this stuff. So people are starting to, I take it as a character attack. I'm like, hey guys, I'm trying my hardest here. But really, it's just lack of people insight watching. Everyone's skipping clips saying, I hate this guy. Look at him. He's got muscles. He's fat. He does this. It's really just pointing and saying, I'm not really focused. But I'm going to let you go because I don't want to ruin the moment as far as this is super special. And for crypto, this is super special for learning. This is super special for DeFi. And I hope that you feel like that, all of that, because I feel like it's true.
I am definitely feeling it. Definitely. And I think it's going to be an interesting week. And we just got started just now. We have years and years and years to make it into even more amazing than what it is from day one.
Yep. I'm going to watch some Zen videos that came out today. So I'm going to let you go. I'm sure you got a bunch of devs and friends that are blowing up your phone trying to chit chat with you right now. Nice shirt, by the way. You were rocking that in Vegas, crushing it. And I hope that we talk again soon, man. And I hope that everything works out beautifully, which I think it will, dude. The users kind of they've already made a lot of decisions.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me again. Always a pleasure. I'll see you online. Let's talk soon.
All right, man. Have a great one. I'll talk to you soon. Congratulations.
Thank you. Bye.
Wow. Good stuff, guys. That was incredible. What a wild time to be alive. I'm not letting this be negative at all for me. I just want to learn and just be positive and keep moving forward, you know? So I saw a Zen video pop up and I think it's a good time to learn a little more, and I have to use the bathroom. So
You want to end this one and then start up a new one?
do you think that's the best way to do it?
Yeah. I'll create
I
a view.
forgot for the playback value too.
Yeah.
Guys, hey, there's 446.
Actually, let me create it now. We'll drop the link.
Yeah, give us this. How about I just watch this one video? Because
Yeah, go ahead and watch it while I create the other one.
We'll watch one video, guys, and then we'll switch over there because I forgot the playback value. You want the video to be clean. I forget about that. I'm not going to watch any videos that are negative. I'm only going to watch the videos that are making perfect logic and sense. And let's see this one. This one looks legit.
What if I were to tell you that it doesn't matter what?
Ooh, this is going to be good. Guys, pay attention. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick, but I can already tell this video is good. It'll get some of the nuance going. And then we'll switch over streams. 430 in here, though, guys. Like, drop the like, share the stream out. I'll paste the Twitter in here. If you guys have a second, go ahead and retweet that for me. I really appreciate that. Hit the like. I'm not trying to do anything negative, guys. I'm really not. I'm really just enjoying my time and studying and publishing exactly what I do and find. And I would rather people think of that as a nice thing rather than, a horrible thing, but whatever people think.
When you get in
Zen video.
your Zen tokens, what if I were to tell you that is
What if I were to tell you that it doesn't matter when you get in and mint your Zen tokens? What if I were to tell you that as long as you get in within the next few days, it really doesn't matter? You don't want to spend $500 on gas. You don't want to spend $100 on gas. Good on you. Don't spend the gas. I'm going to show you right now today why it really doesn't matter. But first of all, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. I'm CFF. I go through various DeFi projects. I am a DGen. I love DeFi plays. I love daily ROI platforms, trading bots, all that good stuff. So make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to my channel. As always, nothing is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an average guy out here. I'm not a professional. I am just trying to make it like you. So let me go in and talk about Zen. If you don't know about Zen, go ahead and watch one of my other videos on it or go search someone else. There's a lot of good information. This thing is going absolutely viral. But I wanted to just make this video specifically for showing you guys that it doesn't really matter when you get in. And I'm going to show you exactly why. But first, guys, let's take a look at these numbers. Let's go ahead and refresh this page. 80,200. Let's refresh. We're about to hit 81,000 members that have signed up in here. Obviously, 81,000 wallets, but this thing has only been out for 7 hours, which is mind-boggling. This is absolutely insane. 7 hours, 81,000 wallets have signed up for this. This thing is, I mean, this could be the standard for the community token because it's free. You do have to pay for gas, so do take that into consideration. When I was minting earlier today, I saw the gas price get up to like $60, $70, $80. It was really, really high. Luckily, I only paid around $15 for each of the wallets that I did mint on. I know, not the cheapest gas, but not the most expensive gas, but crazy. This thing is absolutely killing it. 7 hours in and 81,000 members. All right, so let's go over to Mint Free Zen. So we're going to see this, guys. Look at this. This is one of my accounts. I minted with 3 or 4 accounts. I can't remember. I think I did 4 accounts. So I did 200 days. I did one that was a 21 day, and then I did another one that was an 80 day. So this is my 100 day. Now this is my C rank of 1,000. So this is relatively good C rank, right? Just over 1,000, 1,002. I'm going to be getting an estimate of 5.37 million Zen, right? Now, let me show you my other account that I got in even earlier. And guys, this is a flex a little bit. It's a mini flex because I want to show you guys the C rank. I haven't seen anyone have a better C rank than me, at least in my community, at least among other YouTubers. And I didn't use a bot. I spammed the refresh button. I was ready. I bumped up my gas on MetaMask. I didn't use a bot, anything like that. But guys, check the C rank out. 228. I haven't seen anything better than that. But if you look at the C rank to my other one, the other one was 1,000. So around 800 different. But I'm only getting a little bit more tokens, 5.38. And then if we go up to some of my other ones over here, this one's only a 21 day, but I'm still getting 1 million tokens. So let me give you guys a little example. Say I only paid for this one up here. Let me go back to this first account. This is my main account that I was in. So this was the first account. Now, just let me give you a little story. Let me give you an example, right? So say I saw the gas get up to $50, $60 or even more. Say I spent.
All right, we're going to stop that at 4 minutes, guys. I'm dropping the link. I'm going to be live over there in just a minute. Want to make sure this video is over. There's a lot going on today, and I want to cover it. Plain simple as that. It has nothing to do. There's a lot of people on the internet looking for information, and I feel like maybe I could be a resource that could be potentially positive because I know there's a lot of negative, and there's a lot of scams as well. So most of the guys that feel negatively about Zen are not scamming anyone. They're just, that's their opinion. So, but there are people that are actually scamming people, and I would like to help people be aware, at least at some point. So I'm going to close the stream and go jump over there, guys. The link is right here. I want to see some heads in the chat. If you want to learn, if you want to figure some stuff out, if you want me to invite some guests on, get some insight. Steph from Staker's coming on Thursday at 11:30 Eastern. So that'll be fun. I can't wait to talk to him. Because we were getting back and forth on Twitter. I just want to see what his points are. I'm sure he's extremely smart. But again, Twitter, you know. So everyone have an amazing day. Crypto in the Morning live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to hop over there, guys. See you in a second. Let me spam it in the other chats too. I forgot. Spam it. We're probably just going live on my channel because everyone else has a dip. So like, peace.
It's already live.
Oh, cool. So I'll be over there in a second, guys. Everyone, peace it all the way. What button do I want to press? Did they erase my button?